In this session, we are going to discuss the various time clock actions. So for my home ribbon, I'm going to go to my time clock. I'm going to go log in as service advisor here, put in my password, and hit OK. So you notice it automatically has me in as attendance here. So as soon as anybody logs into the time clock, it will automatically put them in for attendance. There's no other action that needs to be performed. So if that's all it is, all you have to do is just simply hit close, and they're in for attendance. Now, during the course of the day, they might need to clock out for a break, maybe go to lunch, whatever the case may be, or at the end of the day, clock out. Very simple. They're just going to go to the time clock, select their name, put their password in, hit OK, and then they can simply clock out. Now, when clocking out, you'll notice there's a little note here. So you can type in a note, maybe I'm going to lunch or something like that. And just hit OK, and now they're clocked out. So as soon as that person comes back from lunch, they want to clock back in, real simple. Click again, make sure they select their name, password, click OK, automatically puts them back in for attendance. Now, if you are going to be using events, once they're here, they can still clock in and out of events. They will still be here for attendance, but you can also have them clock in and out for an event, such as a break. That's real basic attendance right there. Let's go see what happens with a technician. Now, technicians can log in 2 different places. It depends on their access to the system. If they are not going to have their own computers where they can log in and out as technician view, then they can go to any computer, log in. So we're going to use Tommy Tire here. Put in the password, hit OK. So you see it immediately puts him in for attendance, but also here he's already clocked in on this event. Now, if we need to clock out of that event, he can just simply clock out or go clock into the work order. So if he clocks into the work order, you can put a little note here, and you notice it automatically clocks him out of the event. Okay. So now it just switches it around. So now he's clocked back into the work order itself. And then he just closes the box and goes to work. So it's just a matter of clocking in, clocking out, clocking in, clocking out. So if I clock out of this work order as a technician, I can even mark it as completed. Mark as completed, we'll move it over to the completed file over here. So let's go take a look. Pulls it off of the main screen, moves it over to completed work. You'll notice it even gives you clock time, what's assigned to them, and their efficiency. And the system will look at productivity versus total clock time. I hit close, and now he's done. He's still in for attendance. He just says logged out and completed a work order. Now they do have the capability as a technician of logging into individual job lines here. So we'll use Sam Socket as an example. So here he has a work order that's assigned to him. Now instead of clocking into the entire work order, if I click on the little picture of the work order, it'll open up a drop down and I can see each individual line item that I'm assigned. So if I wish to clock in on a single line item, I certainly can. And then I close it up and go to work. Let's see how this looks from a service advisor point of view. So we're going to go over to work order, open up the work order. You will notice a blue line here and a little picture of the clock. So that's letting you know that he's clocked into this job. There's a little picture of your clock. If I go down to the bottom right here to labor hours, you will see the clock starting to run here. It'll give you the clock time, the amount of time, and a running efficiency. So it's going to do each individual line, and then at the bottom will be your total. If I'm viewing this from the prioritization, it's going to look a little bit different. So let me go make sure I have my column there for clock time. There's my clock time column. I can even look at duration if I wish, which is labor hours on the ticket. So here's going to be my amount of time that's being clocked on this work order. If I go down to my technician view, you will see the little picture of the time clock here. And then when I hover my mouse, it shows you which job they're logged into. So he's logged into the air filter job, but it is not completed yet. And at the top here on his name, he also has a picture of a clock. So you're going to see where they're clocked in on many different places, whether it's tech view, overview, just an overall clock is going to run. You can look in the work order itself, look at the labor hour page, or go straight to the work order page and see it here. So what's going to happen when he finishes this job and he gets ready to go to the next job? Let's take a look. So we'll close this up. We're going to go back over to home here. Go over to the time clock. So he's going to clock out of this or open it back up. Let's go say he wants to go clock in on the belt. So we clock in. So it's going to clock in on the belt and clock him out of the air filter. And you can even mark it as completed. So we switch it around, hit close. Now we'll go back over to work in progress, open the job up here. And again, I can open the job straight from here also. But we need to make sure this is refreshed. So how would I refresh this? Click on refresh. Open it up. Now you notice it didn't mark it as completed. Mark as completed, it would have a green box here. So if I would have checked the box as mark as completed, it would have a green box here. But since I didn't, I'm just switching jobs. It came over to the belt. And again, your labor hours will be down here. And you start to get some clock time and efficiencies. If we go to prioritization and go over to tech view, let's go refresh this. See, now it's switched over to the belt. And then again here. So those are some of the various actions. Now, when they're done, let's say they're done at the end of the day or the job is completed, we're going to clock out either for the job or for attendance. If I clock out just for attendance, it will automatically force all the jobs to be clocked out. So we'll go back over to the home ribbon, to the time clock. Hit OK. So I'm going to clock out for attendance. I'm not going to bother with the belt or the work order. I'm not going to touch it at all. Just clock out just for attendance. Now, do I want to mark the work order as completed? for the belt. Yes. Okay. Now, we're going to go back to our view here. Let's go back over here. Going to hit refresh again. You notice my picture of my clock has disappeared. If I go back over to my work order itself, now I'll have to refresh the work order. So let's get out of here. We'll go back in. Now I'm going to go back through work in progress. Now you see the belt job is completed because I marked it as completed as I was logging out. And that job is done. So various actions you can do. You can do attendance only. You can clock in and out of events. They can clock in and out of work orders. They can clock in and out of job lines within the work orders. Whenever they're clocking out a work order or a job line, you can mark it as completed. And again, you will see it in the work order. You'll see it in the prioritization screen and the tech view. Those are the various actions. Now, if you have computers for each station for your technicians, then they can actually log into the work orders themselves and clock in and out. That is called Tech View. So you might want to watch the video on Tech View to see that. And that's really goes in depth on how that works.